Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series for In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have Adriana de Moura from the Real Housewives of Miami, which is officially finally back with its fourth season now on Peacock after 8 years away. I personally binged the first 3 seasons of Miami this fall, and I don't know what took me so long, but I was eating it up. Season 2 of this show is all time, as people had warned me ahead of my binging of it. Oof, it's just an amazing cast, and I can't believe they let it go 8 years without coming back. But you know, this new incarnation is really, really promising. We've seen the first couple episodes now, and so to get time with Adriana was extra special because it's just so top of mind for me after my binge. And she's just such an icon. She called in poolside with her sunglasses on, with her dog in her lap, looking amazing, and it's just everything that I would have wanted from this interview. And I honestly think that she's one of the best housewives of all time. She pops on TV, and she's made for this. So we talked about, you know, what's happened in the past 8 years, kind of how the show has evolved, how she has evolved. You know, she's not with Frederick anymore. I asked about kind of who she's been in contact with and who she hasn't been in contact with, the Larsa Pippen of it all, and just, you know, what's to come there, because it seems as though they're going to kind of butt heads this season. And, you know, I also asked the question that's been on everyone's mind. It's why is she not a full-time housewife? She is officially a friend of this season, even though apparently she's in every episode, as she told me. And you know, she had her answer for that. It doesn't seem like it was necessarily her choice, but she seems hopeful for the future of the franchise, as hopefully we get more seasons of Miami. So yeah, it was a really fun interview, and it was great to get some time with her. So keep listening for my interview with Adriana de Moura. Stream The Real Housewives of Miami on Peacock. New episodes every Thursday. And please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so we are here with Adriana de Moura from the Real Housewives of Miami, OG cast member, back for season 4 on Peacock. Adriana, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
I was just remarking, you have this amazing setup right now. You're calling in from outside by the pool with your dog and the sunglasses on. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, I love my backyard, and such a beautiful day in Miami. I had to give you a little taste of Miami.
Meanwhile, I'm here in New York where COVID is running rampant and we're all trapped inside. So I'm very jealous of your setup right now. So, okay, we're officially back in action with Miami. And after 8 years away, how are you feeling right now that new episodes are out in the world?
I'm actually very happy. I love the way we're showing Miami. I think that, we're proving that we have what it takes, and that Miami is such a fun, international, sexy city. So I think we started in a good foot.
I completely agree. I love how diverse this new cast is. It's a really big group of women with a bunch of friends and a big cast. So I think it's great. How's Alex doing? How's your son doing?
Oh, thanks for asking. Alex is doing well. He's in college, almost done, but not quite done yet. But, I'm an empty nester now. My little boy is now, imagine, living his life and, going to school and doing everything that, he should do in his college years.
Well, that's the perfect time for you to come back, for the show to come back. You know what I mean? Now that he's not around, this is where your energy can go.
Exactly. Now it's like, I feel like it's kind of bittersweet, but I'm proud of him. He's doing super well. And for me, yeah, it gives me time to focus on myself. And I am calling this now Adriana 2.0.
I'm here for it. So Adriana, where were you when you found out that Real Housewives of Miami was coming back officially and that you were going to be part of it? What was the moment like for you?
I was actually here in my backyard, and I got that phone call, and I had to sit down. I was like, oh my God. Yes, Lord, and God has answered my prayers, because for so long, I kept the faith, I kept the belief that we're going to come back. And we did.
Mm-hmm. Was there ever a moment for you that you were like, did you ever give up hope on it coming back? Or were you always just sort of, okay, it's going to happen. You're just waiting for that day to come?
No, I always thought we would come back, because the way I feel about Miami is like, this city is second to none. It's a destination. People all over the world want to come and hang in Miami. There's so many beautiful things that happen here. not only we have the weather, the beach, the beautiful people, but then we have our Paso, and it's such a hub between, United States, Europe, and Latin America. So, I mean, how can you not come back? But
Mm-hmm.
I understood that, other cities needed their little, spot, or they wanted to try something new. And I said, okay, let them try, eventually we'll go back to being on the scene. And here we are.
There we go. Never go up Pope there.
Yeah.
And I have to ask because, I haven't really seen a straight answer around this, and fans are definitely kind of upset about it, and me included. Why are you not a full-time housewife this season?
Well, that's a great question. It's a twofold answer. One is that I started my master's at Harvard, so my time is really right now. I study a lot, so there was a question if I could really dedicate that much time to the show. But I was able to juggle it, and at the end, the decision was made. But I think that for next season, I'm for sure back on full time. But I appreciate your support and your loyalty. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, well, I binged Miami this fall, and I just fell in love with you right away. I think that you're you're just such a star to me, and this is such a great platform for you, and I feel like you really thrive in it. So to me, it's just been a natural thing for you. So it was just a little confusing to see, especially because it seems like you're right there in the mix this season.
Yeah, I ended up being in every single episode. I can't help it. Drama loves me.
And you're great TV, Adriana. All right, so you're one of the I guess 4 or 5, however you want to say it, 4 or 5 OGs that are back for this new incarnation of Miami. It's you, it's Marisol, it's Alexia, it's Lisa, and Larsa, who was around the first season, and then she wasn't there for 2 and 3. What do you make of the group that they decided to bring back? Because I think they did a pretty great. There were some great decisions that were made in who to bring back.
Oh, I think it was awesome. Actually, that first scene, which was our first group scene, it felt amazing. To me, I felt like it was like a rebirth or Sex in the City almost. It was that vibe for me. It was like,
Yeah.
oh God, I felt like Carrie going back in to meet the girls.
Yeah, I love that they started with that lunch. I think, and it was a perfect moment for them to also sort of like fill us in on everything that's happened over the past 8 years. A lot has happened over the past 8 years. So I think that was the perfect way to start it. Was it like, what was it like for you sitting in that moment back with the cameras there, all 5 of you sitting there? Like, that must have been just surreal for you.
It was surreal and warm, and everybody was so happy to be there. And it was so great to catch up with everybody. I mean, I have stayed in touch with Alexia, Lisa, and Marisol. So for us, it was, we have been in touch. Larsa had been out for, 10 years or so, but it felt great to be reunited with the OGs.
Mm-hmm. And it does, you're right. It does really seem like you 4 in particular really kind of even got closer, it seems, in the past 8 years than you even were on the show. It seems like you guys really were there for each other with some of these things that went down. Talk to me about that connection, because, part of being a Real Housewife, I think it's a very unique experience. So for you to have these women that can be a support system for you, that really understand this for you, must be really special.
Yeah, the Housewives franchise to me is like a sisterhood, So once you're in it, you understand what it takes to be in it, and you feel for each other in a way that, it's great, but sometimes can be difficult. And but on a more personal level, we continue to be friends, especially, like I said, Marisol, Lisa, and Alexia. And it was great to have that support. Like, we went through, divorce and funerals and so many things. So, and parties. And so throughout the years, we stayed in touch and being there for each other. And then as a group, as OGs coming back and showing, hey, the world, we still got it, and we're back. It felt amazing.
I'm sure it did. Obviously there's 2 pretty big figures that were around back in the day that did not come back, in Joanna and Leah. And I'm just curious, have you had any contact with them over the past 8 years? Where do you stand with those 2? Because again, they played a huge role kind of in those second and third seasons, particularly.
Yeah. Well, Joanna got married or remarried and had a baby and moved to Poland. So it didn't make sense for her to, be in Miami anymore.
Yeah.
Leah, it's spending a lot of time in LA. And unfortunately, we never really reconnected. So even though they were a big part of season 2 and 3, I didn't think it made sense at that point where they are in their lives right now to rejoin the cast.
Hmm.
But I wish them all the best, and I hope they're living their best lives.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think again we talked a little bit about how amazing this new cast is and how amazing this group of some of these additions seem to be. Obviously, you've only seen this first couple episodes, you know everything that happens. But who in this new group are we going to see you connect with the most? Obviously, Julia is a good friend of yours, and you brought her around. But who else are we going to see you kind of have moments with?
I kind of fell in love with some of the newbies, or most of the newbies. I really thought they're fun and they're a good addition to us, the OGs. So I love Nicole a lot, Kiki. I mean, I like all of them, but
Yeah,
for me, I think besides Julia, which is obvious, I think Nicole is a girl that I enjoy spending time with.
yeah, and her house is amazing. Her house alone is like, oh, it's just gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And what I love about Nicole and her partner, husband, Anthony, is that Anthony has exquisite taste and he's an art collector. So we bonded right away.
Nice, nice. I love that. Again, it's been 8 years, and I'm curious for you, as somebody who's been around in the housewives world for a decade now. How was the show different this time around? When you're filming in 2021, and I think Housewives as a franchise as a whole has really evolved. And I'm curious how you see it as somebody who's in it. How has it changed in your mind, and how has it evolved?
Yeah, I think we have evolved. I think like the world has evolved. We have gone as a society through so much, right? In the last couple of years and even before that. So I feel like we're more human. We still have the spiciness, we're still the Latin international crowd. But I think personally, I can say I had gone through a lot of personal growth, and I think that it's reflected in this season. So it's a more humanized version of it, if I can define it that way.
Mm-hmm. And for you, obviously, last time we saw you in season 3, you had just gotten married, and that's sort of where we left off with you. And whatever you're comfortable sharing, what can you say about where things went wrong with Frederick? Because I think, obviously he was around for those early days, and fans got to know him. So what can you tell me just about where things went wrong with him?
Well, I believe that Frederick and I would be together forever, and we were together for, over 10 years, 11 years to be exact. But unfortunately, in the later years, after the show wrapped, there was different paths. We're growing apart, and it got to the sense, that very friendly and very amicably, we decided that maybe that wasn't going to work for the real long haul, like till death do us part.
Mm-hmm.
And so we very amicably, got divorced, and it was sad, very sad. But it's life. You never know. It's very hard to maintain, long-term marriages, relationships, and especially when COVID hit and all that. So we literally got divorced amidst COVID, and I think probably a lot of people did too. Like when you finally realize it's time to pull the trigger.
Right. The truths kind of like are quicker to show themselves almost in those moments, and I think a lot of people.
A lot of questions, and it's a big time of reflection, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everything comes out, and I only wish him the best. We are still great friends.
Good.
He's still there for my son, which to me is super important.
Yeah, because they cultivated such a special relationship, I feel like, in those years that you were together. So that's really nice to hear.
Yeah. So we're all good. I still consider him family, which just now, the new modern family.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Whatever really works for you. And so did you, just on a more fun note, did you guys ever spend a night on that boat? Did the boat ever come to fruition?
Oh my God, the boat almost came to fruition. We worked really hard. That boat was 100% Burmese teak wood. So it took years to literally replace and put it back together. And we finally did, but we actually didn't finish the interior with the decoration. And then we decided to get divorced. And then, so
I don't think that you're probably not too upset about that part, about not ever having to live on that boat.
No, but at the end, he sold me on the idea later when the boat started to look really good, because it ended up being like 4,000 square feet of living space in the boat, like 5 decks. And the boat's a historical boat, right? Yeah. At one point, like Howard Hughes used that boat a lot. So that boat's historical, but it needed a lot of work. Let's just leave it at that.
And we still needed to have that closet. Okay, so a little bit about season 4. It seems from the trailer and from the first couple episodes that we're getting some hints that you and Larsa might have some tough moments and maybe butt heads a little bit. What can you tell me about your friendship with Larsa and sort of what we can expect from that this season?
Yeah, so my friendship with Larsa started on season 1, and it was okay, but it was never great. There were moments where we weren't like the same like path or same side. But later on, I let go and we ran into each other. I said, "Hey, all good, no grudges." So it was fine. But then she left. She went to LA and stayed there for 10 years. So she came back, and I was trying to be open and supportive and welcome her back in the group and welcome her back to Miami. So I was doing my best, but eventually, her attitude starts to get to me and rub me the wrong way. And I want to be embracing of her, but I can't stand for certain attitudes and disrespect and certain things that don't sit well with me. So
what did you make when she left Miami and then everyone sees her kind of palling around with Kim Kardashian? What did you make of those years? Because she was kind of in the spotlight in a different way, obviously, than Real Housewives, but you must have kind of gotten glimpses of that as it was happening.
Yeah, though. It was a little surprising to me because as the season progresses, you're going to see my explanation of what I really thought about it. I don't want to give much away, but I do explain my real take on that. I wasn't buying it,
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's more to that story that will reveal itself through the season, but I didn't always think that was a very genuine and known opportunistic friendship.
Got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down, I think. Talk to me more about what we can expect to see from you, because I didn't even know about the master's you were getting from Harvard. Talk to me about that and what else we're going to see kind of from your personal story this year.
Yeah, so I tell myself that now it's my time. My son is about to graduate from college and I'm an empty nester. This is Adriana 2.0. And as a rebirth or like you have to find yourself again, right? So to me, I've always had a high interest in education, and I'm a believer in education. And to me, I love to learn. So I decided to pursue a master's and understand myself better. And I've always been fascinated by human behavior, hence my choice for psychology, and it's coming at the right time because I feel the world now more than ever, people need help with their mental illness issues. COVID has increased 40% of cases of mental illness, people that need help.
Yeah.
40% increase in that sense. So I think I'm going to use my experience and my pain, everything that I had, and turn into my purpose. And hopefully, help people that will need it, my help when I finish graduating.
That's incredible. That's I think we've seen on the show that you've been such a support for your castmates and your friends on the show. And so I think that's awesome that you're channeling that passion into helping others. I think that's really commendable.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, we're really at the beginning of this season 4, but I feel like over the past 8 or so years, there's been that constant echo of fans saying, bring it back, like where is Miami, when's it going to happen? But they're also keeping up with you guys we're also keeping up with you guys on social media, and I'm sure that you were, honestly, I bet you a day, or at least not a week, but maybe even not a day went by where you weren't tagged in something that was calling back to those days. What moments or one-liners or kind of memories from those first several seasons kind of are brought up the most from your point of view?
I think people love the fact that I can be witty and sometimes sarcastic witty. But I just call it like it is. And I think the lines that people love, I mean, one of the ones, I think one of my taglines, it was, I speak 5 languages, but I can get a man without saying a word. That's, I think that's,
I love it. Or she beat me to the tweet. I mean, that's pretty good too.
That's right. Yeah.
And another thing that's so great about your involvement in the show is that you're so integral to it in so much that you sing the theme song. Feel the Rush is the theme song of Real Housewives of Miami. And I feel like that also must kind of be on your social media feed kind of almost every single day. People love that.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody, it's like, oh, I love Feel the Rush. I listen to it all the time. And it makes me feel so good because I composed that song and I sang it, for season 1, but it stood the test of time. And I just did a remix of it and we were using it again. It's very fulfilling to me to know that it's hard for a song to have lasting power, and that song has lasted. And I feel so humbled and, happy, and that my fans love it. And it represents Miami because I composed it with that in mind, with Miami. So
that's so awesome. And am I making it up? I thought I saw on Twitter that you were teasing some other kind of songs or musical endeavors that you have coming down the line.
Well, I actually have 2 new songs, and they were used already at the first trailer, at the super teaser. Those 2 songs.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Me, actually. It's 2 songs. One's called Balança, which I'm singing in Portuguese and English, and then the other one is called Fire. I sing in English and Spanish. So those are dropping. I think today, actually, you can already find Fire and Balança Fire for sure on Spotify and iTunes. And then Balança is dropping soon. And we'll see more of the songs throughout the season. But yeah, so we have 2 new songs already.
I love it. Keep it coming, because clearly people are loving it. Before we sign off, what else can you just tease for me for this season? Because we're really at the early days, and I feel like we have so many new faces that it's kind of hard to tell exactly what we can expect.
Yeah, I think this season is diverse as ever and international as ever. And I think every girl brings, a nice touch to this Miami as a whole. So I love everybody. Of course, I'm biased with Julia because she's my friend, and I brought her into the show, with the thought that, we needed to have LGBTQ representation into this franchise. So I'm very honored to be the catalyst of that. And, that Julia is such a good representation for that. So it makes me feel, fulfilled and proud. And so I'm biased there for Julia, but
I love that you saw that, and I love that you saw that and recognize that had to be, it needed to happen probably a while ago. But I'm glad that you saw it and was like, no, we need to make it happen.
Yeah, I feel so humbled actually that all these people, it took me to make that happen or have that vision to make that happen. So I feel like, so wow, thank you, God, for making to be the instrument of representation for a community that has been, not represented and has gone through so much, through history.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel humbled and I feel so proud of that.
And her partner is none other than Martina Navratilova, who is literally a living legend, which is just, it's pretty surreal seeing her on the show too.
Right? Yes.
Well,
It took a little convincing. It took a little convincing. I had a couple of dinners with Martina and a couple of drinks to make sure that she'll come aboard.
what was that like?
Because of
What was
that,
the convincing she needed?
well, she was reluctant in the beginning, so I had to explain to her and talk, and and that was, it took a little convincing, you know. But then I told her, listen, you're gonna look good because you're a legend, and I love everything that she represents. You know, she's a trailblazer for this, the gay community, and legend as a sportsman. I have a sportswoman. I have such deep respect for Martina, and had the privilege of being friends with them for so long. And to me, it was a natural step to, when I was asked, bring a friend, and I had a choice of many friends that I could have brought, but to me, my choice was clear. So
Yeah, and I think somebody like Martina, who's been in the public eye for decades now, and she's known in such a specific way as this tennis legend and trailblazer. But it's I'm kind of excited to see this other side to her of like, really, it's a more personal side to her. We're going to see her. You're going to have an art show for her where she's going to show off her painting. Like, to me, it's sometimes when somebody's been around for so long, for them to kind of flip the script and show us another side to who they are, I think is really, really beneficial.
Yeah. And that's how I convinced her. I essentially said, listen, you have been painting, you have all this art. And she had some, shows in Europe and everything, but here in Miami as a solo show, she never had it. I was like, let me tell the world, this other side of Martina, you need to show this because you're more than just the tennis legend. And, and then she said, yes. Okay.
I love it. Well, let's end on, if you were to describe this season of my Real Housewives of Miami in one or two words, how would you describe it? What's the adjective that describes what we're going to get?
I think, as usual, we're very sexy, we're very international, and we're pushing the boundaries. We are discussing current issues. We are discussing this new way of life, with interactions, with different things, gender, sexuality, and what does it mean, to reassess yourself, so it's I think we have very very powerful storylines that will be good to watch. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so excited. Adriana, thanks for taking the time to talk. I'm excited to see you on every single episode, and I hope that you're given full-time status next season, because I really think that you deserve it, and I think that you are such an integral part of the show. So I'm excited to see what season 4 has in store for us, and hopefully beyond.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your sweet words. I appreciate them. Yes. And thank you for your support.
Of course. Thanks, Adriana.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. For more celebrity interviews, subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review us, as any show of support you can give us would be greatly appreciated. You can follow me at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow In The Know at In The Know on Twitter and at Watch In The Know on Instagram. We'll talk to you next time.